Record our session. Thank you.
Yes.
So we are now recording. I'm very happy with your first impressions, your first lessons from your first teaching practice. You can only get better. There's no question about that. Today we're going to be working with an area that I was asked to deal with. One of the things that we observed as well in our lessons in Athens was that although you all tried to check learner understanding, sometimes the questions were not fully there. So perhaps we can work with learning to design better questions in order to make sure that our learners have understood. And what is it that our learners need to understand in our lessons? You want, Despina?
Our instructions.
Instructions, okay. Particularly if you're introducing an activity, you know it's kind of novel. Fill in the blanks possibly is not so demanding, but maybe you want to do a pair work activity or a game. What else do we need to check? Any other things that you had to check in your lessons as well? Dominic?
You have to make sure that you grade the language of the questions to the students.
Okay, so that's a good way of making sure your learners understand. But that's not checking, it's controlling your teacher talk, which is very important as well. What else do we need to check? Any other idea? Despina, you're on a roll.
Maybe we need to check what students already know.
Okay, that's a good point. We need to elicit perhaps prior knowledge so that we can build, and we're not building on vacuum, on kind of nothing, on thin air. Okay, well, I'm going to suggest to you something that you probably already know, but maybe my elicitation questions were not really that hot. So that's a lesson for me. We're going to be looking at how to help the learners understand language that we present, okay? And what kinds of language do we present? We present grammar. What else do we present to our learners?
Vocabulary.
And vocabulary, yeah? We present them with different expressions, with different functional exponents. So we're going to look at how to design good questions or good ways of making sure they've understood. So if, for example, I want to teach the word mug, is it a good idea to say mug, mug? Repeat, mug. Is it a good idea? No. And how can I check that the learners know what it means? Joanna?
Okay. First, we can work in the model of meaning, so we can provide a visual support. So a mug, maybe picture online, having the word mug, just the picture.
A mug?
A mug. Are you talking
A
about?
cup?
Um,
Maybe it's a mug. Maybe it's a cog. A cog. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something in between.
So first a picture.
So show the item. Okay.
Yeah.
So you presented it. You've shown a picture of a mug, or you've shown an actual mug, and now you want to check what the learners understand. And I want to ask you to consider. I'm going to share my screen with you. When we think of a word like, okay, I'll put the word mug here instead of the other word I had. Can you see the diagram? Yeah?
Yes.
Let's say, as a good user of the language or as a native user, I know the meaning of mug. I know what it means, that it's something a big something that you drink out of. I know that it doesn't have any emotional meaning. It doesn't have any affective or any connotative meaning, unless I call someone a mug, but this is not my aim. You're a complete mug, but that's not the meaning of mug, okay? Here I have one, actually. This is what I'm teaching. Yeah, this is an actual mug. I know how to spell it and how to say it, how to pronounce it. I know it belongs to a category of words that has other things that you drink out of, don't I? Yeah, I know other words related. I know that it's okay to say to anyone, is that your mug or mine? Okay, that's, you can use it in official meetings, in the office, at home. It's not kind of, it doesn't have like a social innuendo. And I know that it's a noun, although I'm not necessarily sure in my native language. I may know it, I may not know the word noun, but I know what kind of word class intuitively, don't I? Okay, so consciously or unconsciously, I know all these things about the word mug. But when I present the word mug to students, first of all, I don't know if they have mugs in their culture, and I want to make sure that they understand. What do? I need to break it down into what we call maybe the components of meaning. We need to deconstruct the word, okay? And how can we deconstruct the word? Let's say this is my phrase. He was drinking out of the mug. So what is a mug? It's a kind of, go on.
Vessel.
Yeah.
Vessel or cup?
It's a kind of vessel. You're very advanced as a learner for me, but it's a kind of vessel, yeah. Something you do, what do you do with it? You use it for?
To storage liquid.
For liquids, for drinks, okay. So I want to put it in very simple sentences. I want to analyze it and break it down into a number of simple statements, or in linguistics we call them propositions. The propositional meaning of mug is a kind of cup. It's bigger than a cup. Yeah? Agree?
Yes.
You drink coffee, tea, hot. Usually you drink hot drinks out of it. You might also drink beer, but then it's called a beer mug, so it's slightly different. We're not going to bother with that. It doesn't come with a saucer. We know that, yeah? Mugs don't have saucers. Cups have saucers. And you hold it differently than a cup, unless you have such a huge cup like Joanna showed, or somebody else. Okay, so you hold it like this. You don't hold it like this, which is how you hold the cup. So how can we check that the students understand the meaning of mug? We try to turn these statements into questions. Is it like a glass? No. The expected answer is no. Is it smaller or bigger than a cup? It's bigger. What do we drink out of it? Coffee, tea? That's what we want our students to say. Can we use it for beer? Yes. Okay, is it the same name if they know it? Does it come with a saucer? No. Can you show me how you hold it? Show me how you hold it, someone. Show me how you hold a mug. Very good. Show me how you hold a cup. Very good. Okay, so we've checked the meaning of mug, and they know it's something big, it's not a cup, it's not so elegant, and so on. So what do you notice about these questions and their answers? Are their answers wordy?
No.
Are they short and sweet?
Sure.
Yes. Okay, let's have a look at some other some techniques to do with teaching grammar. So let's think about a couple of words that you maybe taught in your lessons. Can someone mention a word that you had in in one of your TPs this week? Joanna, you had
the word.
some vocabulary. Abel? Yeah,
Yeah, sorry. I had the word manager.
manager. Okay. Joanna?
I had grammar, not vocabulary.
Okay, but sometimes we check vocabulary and grammar lessons. Anyone else who had to teach a new word? Despina?
I had engineering, I think. Teenagers,
Engineer, teenager.
disabled people.
Oh, disabled people. Okay. Because teenager maybe is not so difficult because in many languages you say teenager as well. But of course, not in all the languages. Disabled. Okay. Now, you presented the word disabled, Joanna, Despina, with an image. Okay. So can you think about, let's look at these two words. Manager and engineer. What are the elements of meaning of manager? What kind of person is a manager?
A manager is a kind of boss.
Okay, it's a kind of boss.
Type of boss.
So what else is part of meaning of manager?
Well, you can connect it with the verb manage. A manager is a person who manages, kind of like a.
Yeah, but I mean, if you use manage for manager, you might still not be clear. Despina?
They have a lot of responsibilities.
Okay, they are responsibilities. What is a basic concept in the meaning of manager? Is he someone who works at home? Where does this person work?
Company.
Huh?
A company, maybe.
A company, works in an office, in a company, or maybe an office, maybe not in an office. And what else is part of being a manager?
In charge of people.
Yeah, in charge of people. There are other people that you tell things, you tell them what to do. So he tells people what to do. Yeah. What else does a manager do?
Plans, work and
Maybe he
schedule.
plans. Maybe what else does a manager do?
They makes decisions.
Makes decisions, decides things.
Solves problems.
He checks that other people have done their job.
Yes.
He gives guidelines. He gives instructions. Yeah.
Solves problems.
He solves problems. So there are all these concepts of that are part of the job of being a manager. That if you just say a manager is someone who works in an office and has a lot of responsibilities to the learners, that may be quite confusing. But how can we turn some of these concepts into questions?
Does a manager work in a company?
Sorry?
Does a manager work in a company?
Does he work in a company? Okay. The students might say yes without understanding. How can we differentiate a little bit? Does he work in a company or
In a bakery.
or at home on their own?
Yes. Right.
Yeah. For example, does he tell people what to do or does he do what other people tell him, you know? Does he check people or do others check him? So you might give them a binary choice, or you could give them the wrong choice. For example, does he follow instructions or does he give instructions? Okay, so these are some of the ways, binary questions, this or that, A or B, true or false. What about disabled? How could you check disabled? What can or cannot a disabled person do? These are some of the questions you can ask.
You can give an
And
example of
disabled person, for
a
example,
disability?
sorry?
Sorry, you could give an example of a disability, because obviously there are many, but
Many,
start,
yeah.
you can start that way.
What if you're teaching the word for the first time, you wouldn't show every kind of disability, but you might show the classic disability, someone who is in a
Wheelchair.
wheelchair,
Yeah.
possibly just
Mhm.
give them a generic meaning. For example, you would say, can
Blind.
this person walk? Can they do things on their own? Do they need help? So you need to ask a couple of very simple questions to clarify their need for help, their need for support, and the fact that they depend on other people for help.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's have a look at other useful techniques. However, what else can we see here? We can see mime. Yeah, another technique is mime. For example, if you're teaching exhausted, you might mime being tired, wiping your brow, and then perhaps you pretend you're relaxed and you can say, am I exhausted?
Mhm.
Or when am I exhausted? When I'm like this, or I'm like, okay. Or you can check the meaning of exhausted with concept checking questions. Can you think of a couple of good ones? When you are exhausted, do you feel relaxed or
Do I have
you-
energy?
Tired.
tired? Okay.
Tired.
What is additional to being exhausted? Is exhausted and tired exactly the same?
No.
No.
Exhausted
So,
is very tired.
Very tired.
all right. So are you just tired, a little tired, or very tired? Yeah.
Mhm.
So you might
Very-
differentiate like that. Okay. You can show them some drawings. For example, you've taught the meaning of projector. You might say, which one is the projector? Or which of these buildings is a mansion? If you've taught the word mansion, okay? Now, we're going to look at some ideas in the same way that we know things about words. We know, as users of the language, we know things about grammatical structures. We know their form. We know, for example, if it's a verb or how it's formed. We know, for example, the word work is a verb, and we know that if we want to put it in the past, we put an ed, right? So that's morphological knowledge. We know how to spell them. We know how to pronounce them. We know what they mean, the core, the concept meaning. And we know also if they're okay to use with anyone. For example, if I'm teaching the word child, we know that it's socially appropriate to use anywhere. But if you're if you're writing some research, you can't say, for example, this is a research study about kids. This is not appropriate. You have to use the word child or children, or you might try to use even more specific terms. We know how they work in connected speech. For example, if they go first in the sentence, if they go second, what other words follow it. And we know also what function they might express. So, for example, if I say, I always put milk in my coffee, it's a different thing by saying to someone, you're always putting too much milk in your coffee. It's a different function, isn't it? What am I doing in the first sentence? I'm describing I always put milk in my coffee.
Just a
A
habit.
habit. A
You're
habit.
always putting too much milk in your coffee.
That's a
Annoyance.
It's a toxic relationship.
Yeah, you're expressing a rather irritating habit. I don't know why people would be irritated about too much milk, but some people are irritated about anything. So, we're just looking at similar structures that might express different functions. So these are things that we need to check. Yeah. So let's think of a sentence that is typical. I'm going to give you an example of, oops, why is it so big? Okay, let me make it a little smaller. She's had her hair done, okay? You have presented this to your learners. And does anybody know what this particular grammatical structure is called?
Causative?
Is the causative use of the verb to have? And is it active or passive in terms of voice?
Active.
It's passive. Okay.
Passive.
All right. So I presented this to my students, and they might misunderstand. What might they confuse? What might they think? She's had her hair done. What might they think?
They might think that she's done someone else's hair instead of.
Maybe, or she did her own hair. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So either way, they might confuse the meaning. So there is a morphological thing here, and the syntactic order of she's had her hair done that we need to check. What else do we need to check? What are the concepts in this particular grammatical structure?
Maybe what does the S after she means? If it's a S, if it's a has.
Okay. So we might put a marker sentence that's clearer. She has had her hair done.
Mhm.
Okay, let's make it even simpler. She has her hair done every week. Let's say it's a first presentation. We want to make it less difficult, right? And we're talking about someone who is very coquettish, and we say, oh, she has her hair done every week. Okay, and it's kind of a social comment that she's very, very mindful of her appearance. And what does that mean? How do we break it down into the components of meaning? Joanna, what's one component?
I think through a concept check question, maybe to check does she have her hair done on her own or by a hairdresser?
All right, so it's a concept of hairdresser comes into the picture. Does she do it herself?
Mhm.
Does someone else do it? So these are
Yeah.
the components of meaning here. Okay, I'm just going to change it to she has, so that we can simplify it. She has her hair done every week. She doesn't do her hair herself. Someone else does her hair. That's the component, yeah? A hairstylist does it.
Does it?
She goes to a hairdressing salon, right? She pays for this service. It's not free. It's a service, okay? We'll ignore these two because it's not a present perfect any longer. So these are the propositions that we want to make sure the learners understand. She doesn't do it herself. Someone else does it for her. We know who that person is. It's a paid service. and she goes somewhere, a kind of service station. It could be, it's the same thing that we would say he's having his car fixed. He goes to a garage or a car mechanic. And now we need to turn them into concept checking questions. Can someone else do the first one for me?
Does she do her hair herself?
Very good.
Is that what you mean? Yeah.
That's a good first question. What's another question following that?
Does someone else does her hair?
Does someone else does?
No, does someone else do? Okay.
Do, yes. Very good.
Do her hair, yes.
Do it for her, yeah. Okay, next question.
Does she go to the hair salon or does she do it at home?
Very good. Or alternatively, who does? Who?
Does.
Yeah, okay. Or who fixes her hair?
Mhm.
Is it free or does she pay? Yeah. So these are some questions we can ask. Here's an example. Does she do it herself? Does someone else do it for her? The tenses need changing, but I'm not going to bother now. Who does it? Where does she go? She goes to a salon. And I'll just... All right. Let's have a look at a more complex structure. You say to someone else, if I were you, I wouldn't eat so much chocolate. I'm going to ask you for 2 or 3 minutes to go into step through to 1, think about the underlying meaning of this utterance and analyze it and break it down into a number of simple statements and propositions. Imagine that you have presented it with an image like this. Okay? Liz is the person who is saying this to Mary. Your presentation is finished, and now you want to check that they understand the meaning of your marker sentence. Okay? I'm going to stop here and put you in breakout rooms. And I'd like you to write 2 or 3 propositions per group or pair and turn them into questions. Be ready to share some questions with us. Okay? Now, let's see. How many people are there in the room? 1. Maria, I'm going to make you co-host so you can go into the rooms, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'm going to make 3 rooms, 3 breakout rooms. And Vicky is with Abel and Margarita, but Vicky can't talk, so that's okay. So we have 3 pairs, all right? 3 to 5 minutes max. I sent you to a different room each, Suhu and Reem. Can one of you be the boss of this room and make notes, please? Rima, could you do that?
Yes.
You will have to share your notes, Vicky. That's why I'm not asking you, so you won't be able to talk. So, Rima, could you take notes and report back? Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so this is obviously a
Suggestion? I don't know.
Could one of the boss of this room, please, and be responsible for taking notes and reporting back? Okay. Who can do it?
I'm taking notes on my notebook.
Can you take notes in the text chat so you can share them later? You can copy them later or just report them later. That's okay, whichever way you like.
Okay.
Maybe this is Mary, but I'm not sure.
Oh, you're both. Do you want to go to join another
Yes.
group? I don't know.
No, we're okay.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So who is going to be the boss here?
The boss?
Yeah, and take notes.
I am taking notes, by the way, but
All
okay,
right. So you
yeah.
can report. Thanks.
Okay. So Dominic, I'm writing. Liz is giving some advice. Eh?
Yes.
And we will change the names afterwards if we check the picture again. Liz is giving some advice to
Mary.
Mary, thank you. Okay, I think we need to also stress that this is unreal, that Liz is not Mary. They are not the same person. If I were you.
Yes.
It's true.
Yes, Liz is putting herself in Mary's position.
Shoes. Yeah. So Liz, how is this the proposition? Liz
Is putting herself in Mary's position, or is imagining that she is Mary.
should we make it even clearer, even simpler?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like Liz is Mary, and then the question will be: is Liz and Mary the same person? Are Liz and Mary the same person? How do you what do you think?
Yeah, sure, if you'd like to. I mean, I think they probably know they're not the same people, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, we are told not to make that obvious concept check questions, but we can take it.
Were you? I wouldn't do so much.
Is this real or imaginary? Yes. Okay.
Is it real or imaginary? I think this is more easy for this is okay. Yeah. That too, yeah. Is it a real situation or an imaginary? Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I think it's good. Does she think it in a lot of tools is a good idea?
A good idea or a bad idea?
I like that one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we are going around the fact that this sounds like a very direct piece of advice or warning. So yeah, I think it's good. We're not talking much about the fact that it's a condition, but I think it's more of an advice. So I think I agree with all you're sending, everything you're sending.
And maybe suggesting a better choice instead of chocolate.
Maybe we can say
something else.
What would be a better option?
Yeah, what were the effects?
What would be a better option? Okay. How many do we have, Rima, now?
Yeah. 5.
5. Okay. Vicky just sent another one. He said, is she suggesting eating less chocolate? Yeah. I think it's good. If I were you, I wouldn't eat so much chocolate. We can ask a direct one, like if she, or no, of course not if she, because we don't know well. If they were, no. They were them, would they eat so much chocolate? But that's maybe a bit too much.
Mary.
Oh, yeah, that's such a good
Yeah.
point because that's literally part of the clause, right? Does Liz think
Yeah.
Mary?
Okay, are you mostly done? Are you mostly ready?
Yeah.
What would Liz do if she were Mary?
Just make sure that your questions are not more complex than the sentence that you want to check. Try to make them simpler. Have you used the target language in your questions? Have you used conditionals in your questions?
No.
No, good, lovely.
So it's if
What will Liz do if she were Mary? That's a conditional.
yes.
You know,
Yeah.
the students could very easily say something. What would Liz do? For personally, I don't know what would Liz do. And
But in the sentence, can't you get that information? It specifically says, if I were you.
she wouldn't eat chocolate, but we don't know if the students understand that it's hypothetical.
We need to
Okay.
make sure students understand first. So let's make sentences simpler.
Yeah. Because this is what you're trying to teach. And the learners probably are at the stage where you're checking their understanding. They haven't practiced yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's what worries me.
Got you.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to give you another couple of minutes and I'll ask you to come to the main room. Okay. I'll call you from the main room.
Mm-hmm.
Can you please come back to the main room? Say whatever you have and come back to the main room, please. I'm closing the breakout rooms. Perfect. Welcome back. Okay. Now you can use, I see that some of you already know how to write. So can you write your questions down? Joanna, do you have some questions to report? Can you write them yourself? If you can, you can just report them to me and I'll write them down.
I think I can use that.
Okay.
This present
All right. So write
interactive.
questions. Anyone else?
Mhm. Yeah.
Can you copy paste anything?
Yeah.
Just click on the T for text. You know how to do that.
Yes.
Okay. If they were them, would they eat so much chocolate? Does Liz give some advice to Mary? I'm just arranging your ideas, nothing more. Does Liz care about Mary? Oh, that's a good one. I hadn't thought about that. Because, yeah, it's clearly helpful advice. Very good. Should lose weight. Okay. Is it real or imaginary? Very good. Yeah. Are Liz and Mary the same person? Yeah. Okay. I mean, there are people who might be confused even about that. You're right, but Does Liz think chocolate? Excellent question. Is it good for you? Yeah. Are you done? Any more to add?
No, we're fine.
You're fine. Okay, great.
Yes.
I'm gonna show you briefly some of the concepts. Maybe I can copy and paste them here, because I want you to think of something else. And I'm going to paste here the propositional elements that some of you, what's this one? Is it a real situation? Yeah, all right, it kind of slipped away. I'm going to post the propositions and tell me if you made questions for all the propositions. Oops, undo. Okay, we don't need two lists. Sorry about that. I'll repaste. I pasted it twice and it became very long. So, okay, we know that Liz does not eat a lot of chocolate, right? We know that.
Mm-hmm.
And Mary probably eats a lot too much. And Liz knows this is this harmful addiction. Please don't move this because I'm getting dizzy. Just want to put it a little bit. That Mary is overweight. Mary eats more than is good for her. People who eat a lot of chocolate get fat, have bad skin, may have heart problems. They are family or they're friends. And she's advising Mary, but she's not ordering her, right? You agree? And Mary can choose to eat or not to eat the chocolate. And this is not a real situation. And Liz could never be Mary. And the first verb is in the past, the second, but the meaning is not past. The second verb is conditional, and the meaning is hypothetical, is not real. And the advice is referring to the present and the future. Have you asked questions about all these things? Or some of these things?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
some of them, yes.
Most of them, I think, yeah? Now, what you might notice is that you haven't asked, if we look at the concept of what we are checking, I want to ask you to do to think about this one. Which of my questions focus on, I'm just going to draw them, on meaning? Which of my questions focus on form? And which of my questions focus on, there are two F's here. I'll say, okay, let me change the letters. Meaning, I'll put C, concepts, meaning, function, morphology, function, and social appropriacy. Okay, appropriate. For example, Mary does not eat a lot of chocolate. Is that a concept? Is that morphology? Is that function? Or is it social appropriacy?
Concept.
It's C. Well done. And what about number 2?
Same.
Concept.
Same. And number 3?
Concept.
Also. And possibly 4 and
Yeah.
5 and 6. What about 7? Liz and Mary are family or friends.
Appropriacy.
That would be S. And she's advising Mary.
Mm.
S.
S.
S or
We'll see.
F.
F. Well done. Function. It's advice. She's not ordering Mary.
Function.
Function. And Mary can choose to follow advice or not.
Function.
Could be function and concept as well, yeah? This is not a real situation.
Function as well?
No. It's imaginary. It's hypothetical.
Meaning?
Yeah, it's a concept. And Liz would never be married. The first verb is in the past.
F.
It's morphology. We identify the form of the verb, but the meaning is not past.
Concept.
Concept. The second verb is a conditional.
Morphology.
Morphology. But the meaning is hypothetical, not real.
Concept.
Concept. Well done. And the advice is referring to the present and the future.
Concept.
No.
Concept.
Concept. Because present and future are not forms here. They are time references to the temporal, the meaning, yeah? So what do you notice? The concept questions don't only need to be about the meaning. They could be about how polite something is, how appropriate it is, how what kind of verb form or word form it is in the present and the past, how socially appropriate it is to use. And if you're doing choral work, you might even ask the pronunciation. For example, you might say you might contrast, for example, intonation and tones of voice to differentiate, is this a question or a negative? Is it whatever, yeah? To contrast sounds. Now, obviously, if we turned all these propositional elements into questions, would we have too few or too many questions?
Too many.
Too many. So we want to turn them into a manageable number of questions, yeah? We don't want to overwhelm the students with a deluge of questions. So we would probably avoid using some of them. For example, she's overweight. We know she's overweight. She's in a picture. Could Liz be Mary? No, she couldn't. I mean, that's a naive question. I wouldn't ask it. We would focus on the heart, on the core issues, the core concepts. Okay? So what about some rules? If you want to take a screenshot of that, you're very welcome, because I don't have a key. Yeah? Do you want to take a screenshot and share it in your Telegram group, maybe? That'd be nice for people to have. Who knows how to do this?
I'm doing it now.
Lovely, thank you so much. Okay. Because I want to share my screen. Okay, may I? You ready?
Yes, it's done now.
Good. Okay, I'm going to go back to my handout. Obviously, the propositions that we turned into questions could be dealt with in some other way. You could turn them into true or false questions. You could say, instead of asking questions, you could say, Mary is very slim, true or false? Liz eats too much chocolate, true or false? Liz is ordering Mary, true or false? So concept questions don't necessarily always have to be questions. Does that make sense? You could do, like, there is an example. I think I have a little example here. No, I don't. I've lost my example. But you could also use other techniques. You could use a grid, particularly if you contrasted a number of different uses of the same structure or different meanings. I'm going to ask you to consider that later, because that's that's for an upper level. For example, a proficiency class is looking at all the meanings of the present simple, and you might give them a grid with the components of meaning. So the propositions are in the vertical lines, okay? Or you could do a timeline. Have you heard about timelines before? Yeah? Who has heard about timelines? Can you raise your hand? Good. If you've gone through the units in your Moodle, or you're going through the grammar unit, you will find them. They're also an excellent little book in your wiki, which is called Concept Questions and Timelines. Can you write down the title? And I'll share it with you I'll share the link with you on Telegram. You can ask them to do a language awareness activity. For example, you've been teaching the passive voice, and you might ask them to consider what sort of contexts might generate these passive sentences. And they might identify maybe a supermarket or someone reporting a theft, and why would they use the passive. They might identify number 3 as a news broadcast. They might identify number 4 as part of the conversation at the garage, and so on and so forth. Number 7 is a headline. But I just want to share with you one last activity, which I really like, and that's how we will finish our day. We're going to look at concept checking. When we do this in class, we are really looking at the ideas behind the language, right? So I call that, for the sake of the learners really, rather than teachers, I call these hidden ideas. And so this is an exercise I might give to my learners. There is an idea behind many of the sentences with hypothetical meaning. Look at these examples. It's time you had your hair cut. The hidden idea is that it's too long, right? I wish my brother were here with me, but he isn't. If only I had worked harder, but I didn't, right? So I ask the students, give them some sentences, and I ask them to write the ideas behind each of these sentences. For example, I wish you didn't smoke so heavily. Can somebody give me the hidden idea?
You smoke very heavily.
But you do.
You do.
You smoke too much. Okay. Just suppose you had dropped my glasses.
Didn't.
But you didn't. What is the feeling here? I wish you didn't smoke so heavily. How does the speaker feel? Despina?
Concerned.
Concerned, or
Desperate.
what else? Can't hear.
Desperate.
Desperate. Maybe the smoke is irritating them. Maybe they hate the smoke. Maybe they're annoyed. Maybe they're telling the other person off. Yeah. Just suppose you had dropped my glasses. You didn't. So how do I feel?
Number 2, it's we had a coffee break.
Sorry, yeah. Thank you. It's time we had a coffee break. So what's the hidden idea?
We haven't had one yet.
We haven't had one.
Time for a break.
And it's late, yeah? It's time we had. It's late. We haven't had a coffee break yet. And so if you say that to me, what is that? What are you doing?
Invitation.
And then?
Invitation. Inviting.
An
people to-
invitation.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. It could be an invitation. It could be that you're bored with my session and you want me to finish. Maybe you're reminding me, yeah? Just suppose you had dropped my glasses. When would you say that? Would you say that if you were happy?
Unlucky.
Okay. But did that person, when you say that, did that person do something that might have ruined your glasses? Maybe. So maybe you feel lucky, or you feel relieved. If only you had listened to your mother.
You didn't?
But you didn't. You did whatever you wanted. And so what's the feeling here? When someone
Little
says
angry.
that you are?
A little angry, maybe?
Maybe a little angry, yeah. Are you congratulating the other person, or are you criticizing them in some way?
Criticizing.
You're criticizing. You're telling them they never listen to anyone. So you could also give them some scaffolding, and that scaffolding means support. Once they do the ideas behind, you could give them some of the speaker intentions. For example, making a strong suggestion. It's time we had a coffee break. It's a really strong suggestion, yeah? Otherwise, you would say, oh, it's time for a coffee. But if you said it's time we had it now, it's a bit more urgent. Like, you're late. Your sessions run on for too long. So this is also a good way of checking understanding. I'm just going to show you a last activity, which is just an idea, one of the many ideas you probably use in your lessons. When we check understanding, we use questions, we use phrases, we get the learners to generate hidden ideas perhaps. But at the end of the day, one of the other ways that we need to use in order to check understanding in our learners is to get them to use the language for some kind of a reason. Yeah. So checking is not just questioning, is getting the learners to use it. Just like when you teach vocabulary, at the end of your lesson, you get them to talk about something, to personalize it, yeah? To get them to make use of some of the words or the ideas. So for example, at the end of this lesson, you might give the learners some situations, and you might say, use some of the expressions on the previous page, and make a statement or role play an activity or do a mini role play. So your friend hasn't arrived yet, and you might choose to say, well, I wish you would arrive on time. Or it's high time you checked the time of our appointment. Or if I were you, I don't know what the students might use, but they might choose one of these phrases. So give them a range of situations and some choice. For example, your teacher is still teaching you during the break, just as I'm doing now. Use a question to make a strong but polite suggestion. Which one would you use?
It's time we had a break.
It's time we had a break, or even more polite. Isn't it time?
Okay.
We finished our session. I have a class to go to, or something like that. And one situation my students loved, you went out last night and Brad Pitt was on TV. Express regret or relief. They have to choose. Did they like Brad Pitt or don't they like Brad Pitt? So remember, get them to use the language. Okay, so my last checking questions. Rules and advice for good concept questions. Are these ones true or false? Number one, what do you think? If it's true, put a thumb up. If it's false, thumbs down. Students' answers need to be lengthy to show they understand. Okay, let me see everyone because I can't see everyone right now. All the thumbs up or down. Okay. Number B, excellent, it's thumbs down. The teacher cannot use the target language item in the question. Yes. In grammar, especially, in the vocabulary PESI, it's doubtful, because you might say, is a mug like a cup or like a glass? You might use it to contrast. But with grammar, it's a good idea to avoid it. The interrogative format is the only good format for concept questions. True. Well done. Some of you are not sure what to do. You're looking at me. Okay. And you should never ask the questions to which the answer is the target language. All right, yes, that's very good. So my questions worked. Okay. Any questions? Any reflections before we break the session, we end the session? Okay. Any good things that you got out of the session? Anything that you can use in your next lesson?
Asking the questions, I think, is a good one. Like learning how to create these questions, I think is pretty good.
Okay. I will share the book Concept Questions and Timelines, which you have in your wiki. You're very welcome to download it. And some of the ideas in this presentation, some years ago, I wrote them down as a blog post. I'll share that with you in your Telegram groups as well. And for some strange reason, it happens to be the most popular blog post on my blog. I have no idea. Maybe people don't write enough in the books about concept questions. Maybe that's something that's missing from books, and people desperately look around the web to find good blog posts for concept questions. So that one I'll share with you as well. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you again soon on a screen near you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Bye.
very much.
Bye.
Have a nice weekend.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Right.